long time no see, I'm Revellion. This time, I'll be sharing how to farm the new Warframe, Uriel. Of course, this is 100% spoilers, so please be aware of that. To craft and claim Uriel by yourself, you must complete the Old Peace quest in the main quest. To start this, you must complete the main quest up to the Lotus Eaters. When you clear the quest, you can get the main blueprint for Uriel. Then, you'll be able to unlock the weekly mission, Descendia, and get Uriel parts blueprints. In addition, you can now access the Perita Revellion missions, where you can gather resources needed to craft Uriel. If you can't wait until you clear the quest, I highly recommend buying it using Platinum. For new players starting Warframe, using the mission preview will allow you to access the Descendia and the Perita Revellion missions. Mission preview is unlocked after completing the quest, The Teacher. After clearing the quest, open menu, select Update, then select Mission Preview. A warning message will appear regarding spoilers and other precautions, so please read it carefully. After reading, enter the confirmation word to start the new mission. This adds a dark refractory bottom, allowing you to access Descendia and the Perita Revellion from the mission start location. It's great that you can access a new mission right away, but there are 5 things to be careful about. First, you cannot skip previous quests. Mission Preview is a mode that allows you to experience missions beforehand. This does not clear the quest, so you must eventually clear the quest by yourself. Second, if your mastery rank is under 10, you cannot use online mode. In other words, you cannot team up with random players in online mode. However, you can start missions in solo mode, cope with friends, or if you are already formed a squad, there is no problem. The third point is that you cannot craft Uriel by yourself. The main blueprint for Uriel can only be earned by clearing the Old Peace quest or exchanging it at the shop in La Cathedrale. If you experience this in the mission preview, you cannot enter La Cathedrale. Therefore, you cannot craft Uriel on your own. However, you can get blueprints for Uriel's parts, blueprints for other weapons, and resources. So, it's not a complete loss. Later on, it becomes easier to get the critical item, the Typholyst artifact. The fourth point is that it may become unusable due to updates, or the way to start it may change. Warframe is a legendary game that is already 13 years old. More exciting quests and missions are sure to come in the future. Therefore, it is unclear whether the future updates will allow you to start in the same way as this video. A major update may assign a different mission to the mission preview. I'll share more in a new video then. The fifth point is that in the Descendia mission, when you fight the boss at the final location, it's possible you might lose. This boss can unleash devastating attack that will surely destroy your Warframes. To interrupt this skill, a special action is required that can only be performed by advancing the quest. Therefore, if everyone cannot do this action, there is no chance to win. If you have completed the main quest to War Within, make sure to unlock the Banshee's ability, called Silence. With these 5 points in mind, let's use Mission Preview. Now, after clearing the Old Peace quest, let's head to the Descendia mission. The Dark Refractory bottom has been added to the usual mission start location. From here, you can access the Descendia mission. If you have unlocked the Steel Pass mode, you can also challenge the Descendia mission in the Steel Pass. The Descendia mission begins with the simplified, shorter missions. After completing 2 floors, you can receive a reward once a week. In the Steel Pass mode, you may also get the Raven mod, boosters, Arcane Reactor, Arcane Catalyst, Omniformer, and Argon Shards. It seems worth checking every week. After clearing one Infernum, you can descend to the next Infernum Rebel to challenge it. Once you clear the 7th Infernum, you can choose whether to continue or retreat. If you couldn't reach this point, you'll need to start from the beginning. When continuing, select buff from Murray. Once selected, you can proceed to the next Infernum. Similarly, after clearing 14 Infernums, choose buff from Leon. Both have drawbacks, but you can't proceed without choosing one. After choosing, let's go for the lower level. By defeating the boss in the lowest Infernum, you can aim for Uriel's parts blueprint. Progress will be saved once you reach the checkpoints on the 7th, 14th, and 21st floors. Then, until the mission's update deadline, you will be able to start from any checkpoint you like. Once you clear up to 21st floor, you can also repeat battles against the boss. However, if you wish to exchange other arcane or blueprints, it's okay to start in the middle. When challenging Descendia with a preformed squad, start the mission at the progress level of the squad member who has made the least progress in Descendia. For example, if 3 out of 4 players have cleared up to the 21st floor, but the remaining player has not challenged Descendia at all, they must start from the very first floor. We cannot ferry someone who hasn't cleared the 21st floor just to get Uriel's parts blueprint. By clearing up to the 21st floor together, everyone can earn Uriel's parts blueprint. That is an overview of the Descendia missions. This mission is similar to the Circuit mission, but without the random equipment and allowing you to start from midway, so I think it's easier to play. Infernums missions has Extermination, Excavation, Defense, Gathering, Purification, Legasite Harvesting, Alchemy, Mobile Interception, Pressure Cooker, Plunder, Plunder Roulette, Time Tribulation, and Battle Cases. Most missions should be no problem based on your experience so far. Gathering, Purification, Pressure Cooker, these are just new names for the same old missions. In Gathering, just like in Flood missions, collect the floating orbs. Purification is the same as the Infested salvage mission. For details, please watch the rotation rewards video. The pressure cooker is only for the later part of the alchemy mission. If the pressure gauge goes too far to the right, just destroy the marked spot to fix it. Other missions such as mobile interception, plunder, plunder roulette, time tribulation, and battle cases are new content for not seen before. Mobile interception is just like the mastery rank test. All you need to do is to follow the moving target and fill the gauge, switching to the operator and entering void mode to follow, or using an ability to grant invisibility will make it easier. Plunder and plunder roulette are both like bonus stages. Open or destroy containers within the time limit to gather resources. Time tribulation is a simple race. Keep following and passing through the red rings to race. If you are in a squad, all members must complete the race. Battle cases is mission that forces you to ride cases. Use your secondary weapon to shoot down the floating spheres. The range of secondary weapons and the amount of ammunition directly affect playability. You don't need to jump, so just stay calm and aim carefully. There are other types of Infernum, but defeating the enemies marked with red markers should handle the rest. In the 21st Infernum will be a direct battle against Uriel. Break the locks and head down, down, down. The final battle will finally begin at the lowest level. There aren't any complex attacks, so you should be able to handle it. Deal damage to reduce health. Uriel's health is divided into 2 sections. When half is lost, he gets chained, and after a little time, his attack will destroy the Warframe. To disable this skill, you must destroy the root of the chain, using the operator's attack or void dash. Once you destroy 4 of them, the health gauge will turn yellow, and you can attack again. For now, this special ability can be nullified by Banshee's ability, Silence. If you activate it in advance, you can cancel this skill. Once you have reduced his health, destroy his throne. Now, you can get Uriel's parts and blueprint for Uriel's signature weapon, Makvos. Once you get the blueprint, gather the necessary resources and other weapon blueprints. All resources are available at the Perita Revellion. Bring your best build and a large amount of cipher. Then select Focus. The type of focus you choose here determines how your Warframe is empowered during the mission. Choose a focus that suits your build and how you use your abilities. There are 3 modes, Hunhullus, Cathedrale, and Vanguard, but the mission content is nearly the same. Once you start, you will be given a series of orders within 12 minutes, and clearing them will reward you. Additionally, Warframe will be temporarily upgraded. The details of upgrade depend on the focus you have selected. Between various orders, the stolen Prime Warframe will interfere. Defeat them and clear as many orders as possible within the time limit. The mission requires frequent mobility across a vast battlefield. Accessing the floating orb allows for high-speed movement using Parazon's string. Use it well to move quickly across the battlefield. Using this movement will add void damage to your equipped shooter weapon for a short time. Utilize it wisely to increase your firepower. Also, if you find a red fragment when moving, approach and take it. Gather 3 of them and your Warframe will be temporarily upgraded. Additionally, in this mode only, you can use Talon Strike, an operator exclusive attack. When the gauge in the lower right corner fills up, you are ready. To use it, switch to operator mode and press the third WD button. Choose your timing carefully. After clearing various orders and 12 minutes have passed, the battle against the boss will begin, and defeating them will clear the mission. The types of bosses and rewards differ depending on the mode, so be sure to repeat the 3 types of missions balanced. Once you know the general flow of the Perita Revellion, let's look at the orders assigned during the mission. There are roughly 16 types of orders. If you can identify what you need to do quickly, you can finish them faster. Let's start with the simple ones. Eliminate Anarch and Prime Warframe. These 2 are easy. Both orders end once you defeat the specified number of enemies, destroy the red marked supplies, and defeat the Prime Warframe. Freeing the Brachiolysts won't be difficult either. Go to the blue marker location, and after a while, defeat the enemy marked with the red marker. Next, let's handle the Shuttle Defence. First, hack the terminal and defend the shuttle until the gauge fills up. When enemies touch the shuttle's terminal, the gauge stops, so repel them. If you have the time, head to a distant location and defeat the enemy with the red marker. When ignored, other shuttles will be taken by the enemy, and the captured shuttle will attack the shuttle you are defending. Try not to let them take other shuttles as well. Once the gauge is full, the order is complete. Destroying a moving enemy supply transport is not so easy. Look closer at the cylinder sticking out from the transport. Destroying the yellow glowing cylinder will damage the transport. Assault rifles are difficult to aim with, so it's best to use weapons with an area of effect. Be careful of repair devices placed on the ground. When the transport arrives at its location, it will be repaired. Destroy the transport before it reaches the repair device, or destroy the repair device itself. If you can destroy the multiple cylinders on the transport, the order is complete. Next up are the orders for clearing mines and scanners and eliminating air assault squads, where the access button is key. In the mine clearance order, you will be removing mines that are white with golden metal. Press the access button rapidly while getting closer to the minefield. This allows you to access the mine, hack it, and neutralize it. Hacking will increase the gauge faster. Having tools like Cipher or Alt Bridge would make it easier. Once the gauge is full, the order is complete. When removing the scanner, listen carefully for sounds to locate it. Once you find it, press the access button to extract the scanner and destroy it. In the Air Assault Squad's order, aim your view at the ship in the sky and hit the access button. This can cause Warframe to charge into the ship and destroy it instantly. However, if you are too far from the ship or approach from behind it, it may not work. At this time, defeat the enemies that comes down. Next, let's go rescue Conculyst. First, hack the terminal and release Conculyst, and escort them to their destination. Along the way, there is a device that captures Conculysts. Let's go ahead and hack the terminal to disable them. There are also mines, so remove them as well. If Conculyst is defeated, revive them just like Warframes. Once they reach the goal, it's complete. Next, let's look at the orders, focused on repelling enemies, holding the lines, supplying the turret, and capturing the supply cache are examples of this. When holding the line, do not let enemies enter the circular zone. If enemies are in the zone, the gauge won't increase easily. Within this zone, turret ammunition appears regularly. Pick it up and deliver it to the turret to reload. Use the turret wisely to keep them away. Once the gauge rises, holding lines is complete. When supplying a turret, you must defend the ammunition drop zone for a short time. If there are enemies in this zone, progress will be blocked. Defeat the enemies and clear the zone. When ammo appears, pick them up, deliver them to the turret, and use the access button to reload. When reloading is complete for the specified number of turrets, the order is finished. When capturing supply caches, you must be near the cache. If you stay nearby, your gauge will rise and cache will be secured. When enemies approach, the gauge stops, so defeat them to increase the gauge. Once you secure the specified amount of cache, it's complete. By adjusting your position, you may be able to secure multiple caches. Next, let's look at 4 different types of orders that are more challenging. Bring the energy core to Typholyst. Destroy the targeting array. Powering the transmitter. Destroy the Makvos cannon. These 4 types are difficult to advance when there are few enemies. Typholyst, targeting array, transmitter, cannon. If you see these keywords, be careful not to attack enemy ships. Now, let's review the details. First, let's bring the energy core to Typholyst. Defeat the enemy and pick up the red energy core. Then, fight near Typholyst and supply energy. The gauge turns light blue during energy supply. Once the supply ends, the core on the left hand will disappear and the gauge will turn white. If you do nothing, the gauge will turn red and decreases. Defeat enemies and collect energy cores. Once the gauge is full, it's complete. Next, let's destroy the targeting array. The machine with antenna is quite distinctive. Here, defeat the enemies and pick up the authorization code. Then, deliver the collected code to the targeting array using the access button. Repeating this process will destroy the targeting array. If you are in a squad, you must destroy several targeting arrays. Next, let's send power to the transmitter. This type of machine is distinctive. Defeat the enemies here as well. After defeating an enemy, you get either an A or B parts. Once you pick up one, defeat enemies until the other appears. If A or B is displayed on the left side of the screen, it means you still need to defeat the enemy. After picking up both parts and waiting a moment, the Warframe will hold the battery in their left hand. Next, set the battery into the machine using the access button. Repeating this will increase the machine's gauge. Once it reaches 100%, the order is complete. You cannot proceed without both A and B parts, so be sure to collect both of them. Be careful not to drop the battery by switching weapons. But don't worry too much, you can pick it up again. Finally, let's destroy the Makvos cannon. First, defeat the enemy and pick up the authorization code. Once you pick it up, hack the terminal and explode the cannon's weak point. Then, the weak points marked with red markers will appear, so let's destroy them. After that, attack and destroy the cannon itself. Here's an overview of the orders issued in the Perita Revellion. Identify them quickly and complete them efficiently. After 12 minutes, the battle against the boss will finally begin. In Hunhullus mode, a giant humanoid sentient named Hunhullus appears. At Dactylist mode, insect-like sentient Dactylysts will assault you. In Vanguard mode, crime Warframes will assault you. There are no tricky steps for Dactylist and Prime Warframe. Smash them with your prized Warframe and weapons. The battle against Hunhullus is a bit challenging, and for now has quite a few bugs. Personally, I recommend playing solo. Now, back to how to defeat it. First, you must destroy one of the 4 breakable parts located on the knees and chest. It's best to start by aiming for the upper chest parts. You can only deal damage after destroying it. Once health is reduced, you must destroy the breakable parts again. Since you destroyed one part just now, destroy one of the remaining 3 parts. By repeating this, you can reduce Hunhullus health. Here, destroying objects around Hunhullus will summon floating orbs. Accessing it will grant you the same effect as the orb appeared during the mission. Your firepower is likely to increase, so let's use it well. Once Hunhullus health reaches 0, you will enter Arcane mode. As soon as this mode starts, a high damaged beam will be shot, so move right away after the movie ends. Here, training your Arcane and Arcgun will give you an advantage in battle. Since you can install Arcane on Arcgun now, it should be much easier to fight. For details, please watch the video on how to craft Noko. In Arcane mode, there is no difficult gimmick. Unleash your firepower and slay Hunhullus. Once a boss is defeated, head to the Lotus location and extract. And now, the Perita Revellion is complete. Finally, if you can't get the parts you need, want a second Uriel, or wish to upgrade your operator, head to La Cathedrale. Enter the Sanctum Anatomica and look for the room glowing orange. This room can only be entered when you are selecting a drifter. Open menu and select operator from equipment. Then you can switch between drifter and operator in the upper right corner. Press and hold the access button to enter. Then you can exchange items like Uriel's blueprints from Roll on the left. From Murray on the opposite side, you can exchange for Typholyst artifact and new mods. When claiming the Typholyst artifact, a movie will be played, so it's best to prepare before exchanging. After exchanging, Tauron Strike becomes usable anywhere, and new operator skills and mods will be unlocked. This is an overview of the missions required to craft Uriel and upgrade the operator. Thank you very much for watching. If you want more Warframe videos, please subscribe to my channel. See you next time. Bye.